Let's introduce this man with the 33rd team. He's been covering the NFL as one of the top insiders, if not the top guy. For us, top guy. We always love having him on the program. Our good friend Jason Cole. Tell us about what's happening with the 33rd team as we get set.
We're a busy place as we get ready for the season. And I'll do my usual, do a little statistical analysis, which dovetails with those who like to say wager occasionally. Not that you would be one of those people, Defo, but not that I'm a gambler, but I know a few of them. Present company at the front of the line.
Exactly.
You're kind of like, when it comes to preseason wagering, it's like C. Everett Koop when he used to issue the warning and say, it's not good for you guys to smoke.
You guys are just dumbasses. That's what you are. Okay? You're just dumbasses. Anybody who bets on preseason football, I mean, it doesn't even qualify for degeneracy. It's like, it's a level below degeneracy. I just have to tell you that. And I know who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
And I know that you know that.
I would agree with you 1,000% on that particular aspect of wagering. Everybody was saying they were cashing.
The people who lose aren't going to call you and tell you they lost.
That's true.
Nobody calls and says, "Hey, I lost $1,000 on that."
You know what? I haven't cashed in 3 years, exactly.
Nobody does that. You might as well play, Russian roulette with two bullets. I mean, like, just, like that's what you might as well.
It's a four-chamber gun.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Another beautiful day here in South Florida to enjoy being with you guys here on the Defo Show. We got Mike Lubitz looking sharp today once again. Mike Lubitz. I'm Jeff DeForest. And later on, scheduled to be speaking a little Miami Dolphin football and NFL with Chris Perkins. Chris Perkins, always great. And very, very, I mean, you talk about transparency. I mean, this is a guy... I don't know. I mean, reporters could be extremely negative, I guess, about the teams that they cover. They can be neutral. It's hard to be completely neutral, isn't it, Lubie, when you're around a team all the time? You either don't like the way you're being treated, and so that may trigger and ignite a little bit of negativity and some sarcastic type of criticism. Or maybe people expect you to be overly critical. If you're too nice, it looks like you're a shill. Yep. But Chris manages to balance this out, and yet at the same time, I mean, he'll come straight up and say, "Hey, I don't think this team's very good." And we're like, "Well, they're supposed to be. Come on, we can go." But he'll join us, and people getting excited, I suppose, about the second week of the NFL preseason. I'm looking at this full slate of games here and thinking, all right, it's something. I might have to tune in a little bit and. I don't know. Can you get any kind of a sense of what's going to happen? We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Any definitive conclusions you could make out of the first week of the preseason? And I think we were hard-pressed to come up with anything of any significance, Lubie. And if we did, we'd be faking it, wouldn't we? I mean, if you're on a show screaming like Stephen A. Smith and some of the crew there on ESPN, I can't believe they played this guy 4 plays. You really need to go out and redefine what it is that you're looking for in life, I think. Because I always have... Doesn't this strike you? I mean, do you have a voice in your head that is Allen Iverson's just constantly reminding you, you're talking about practice.
Yeah.
Not a game. Practice. So I do like, and I think your theory that, you're seeing a little bit more of starters getting some playing time probably relates to the fact that the football was god-awful in September. And one of my theories always is people talk about stretch drives that we're in Major League Baseball right now or getting there. September, would that be the official start of the stretch drive in Major League Baseball? Little juxtaposition going on, too. A lot of weird things happening with the pennant races, including, Lubie. Did you catch this? Padres a game ahead of the Dodgers in the National League West. Who would have thought that? Seemed like a week ago the Padres were 4 or 5 games out. So Dodgers sinking into an abyss. The Padres been coming on. They've been red hot. The Milwaukee Brewers, the hottest team in Major League Baseball right now, have won 12 in a row. And I think I heard on SportsCenter we might want to schlep to Milwaukee, Lubie, because I believe some famous hamburger joint is offering hamburgers free to the whole city anytime the Brewers win 12 in a row.
Yeah.
which is once, because they did have an 11-game winning streak and they lost that 12th game. So saved these guys a lot of money. I don't know how much money would that cost you to feed the whole city.
It's not cheap.
I would quickly look at the fine print and whatever it is that they issued there in terms of this promotion and say limited to 100, the first 100 customers. 100 burgers alone would be about what? At least $600 in expenditure and cost to the restaurant. You're figuring what, $6 a burger it's costing them? Put those things together, maybe less. But nonetheless, red hot, and a lot of developments going on in Major League Baseball as well, including, and this was weird, Lubie, because arbitrarily I will tune into Marlins games. They became a little bit more interesting this year because, as Andy pointed out early in the season, this team can hit the ball a little bit.
Yes.
They're not terrible in that category. And you thought because they've been sort of nurturing this whole idea of developing young pitching, and we thought at one point when we talked to that Mike Hill, where we thought, my God, this is going to be a great young pitching staff. Remember? I mean, Sandy Alcantara was on his staff, Juan Urena. You had Sixto was supposed to be this monster. And after the passing of Fernandez, you thought, all right, maybe they've rebounded and have enough young arms there that they've acquired over the years after trading all of their superstars to actually have the core of a fine young pitching staff. But that hasn't necessarily transpired and manifested itself in what they're doing on the field. Nonetheless, pretty remarkable season. But I tuned in a couple of nights ago, and I saw the initial at-bat of this guy, Jacob Marcy. Have you seen what this kid's doing so far in the big leagues?
Oh, I mean, I looked right now at his stats. I know that they were excited about bringing him up, and it's why they were comfortable getting rid of Sanchez, and why they also didn't feel the need to go and make any other moves, and it's why they sort of were okay keeping their pitchers because they liked what they've seen out of Stowers and Gus, and this kid was supposedly the guy. Like, he was the one that was actually supposed to be the beast, not those two. So to see what they got out of those two, to bring him up, they were like, I know Marlins fans were really excited.
Number 87, yeah. I mean, the guy's wearing number 87. You're usually figuring he's not going to be consequential in terms of what the team does. That's a number that you see in spring training. Now, I looked at his minor league stats. They were very unremarkable, Lubie.
Mm-hmm.
Very unremarkable. I think in AAA with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, when he got the call-up, he was hitting 246 or something. Non-distinguished like that. And in his two previous seasons, I don't know if he was marred by injury. I don't know that much of his history. But two previous seasons in Double-A, I believe he was below the Mendoza line with the two teams that he played with. So this was a guy that was hitting sub-200 just a couple of years ago as a minor leaguer. Hit 246 on a AAA level. He comes to the big leagues now in 39 at-bats. He is hitting 436. He goes 4 for 5 last night, has a couple of home runs. He's already got 3 homers. He has 13 RBIs. Is that it? 13 RBIs on the season.
7 yesterday.
7 coming yesterday.
Yesterday.
What the F? I mean, he's walked 9 times. No, more than that. Yeah, I think he's got 9 bases on balls. He's struck out 9 times. 6 stolen bases in 7 attempts.
Oh, so he's stealing bases too.
What the hell? Guy's been up for I'm pretty sure that was right before I went to Vegas that I tuned in the game. I saw him walking his first at bat. It was kind of cool because his family was there and they had is it Kelly? I believe it's Kelly Sacco.
Kelly Sacco now
does a great job. This girl's fantastic. I really think her television performance is as good as anybody. Minervini was great in that role. Did they drop Jessica Blaylock from Marlins coverage?
Well, remember, she has the Panther contract and they're tied to a different network. So I don't think she has.
She doesn't have the freedom to do that?
I don't think she's tied to that network anymore.
Oh, okay.
And I think she rode with the Panthers and not the Marlins, I guess, because I think Sacco is doing that role, and I haven't really
Sacco's also on the Heat broadcast now, too, which I think was an appropriate elevation of her stature with the network. Woman does a really, really good job. Anyway, she was with the family of this Jacob Marcy, and they were very nervously watching his first at bat. He drew a walk, and I thought, well, that's great. At least he didn't strike out first at bat. You don't want that to be the distinguishing characteristic of the beginning of your career. And so I mean, just a monster performance last night. That is a record breaker. I don't think anybody's ever had 7 ribbies in a ball game for the Miami Marlins, and even when they were the Florida Marlins, and they had some really good potent hitters. Nobody, I don't think, has ever driven in 7 runs in a game before. So this kid cracks a first as they go out and annihilate the competition last night. And that looks pretty promising. I don't know. I mean, how can you sustain that? 436. Holy George, Brett. What are we
I
talking
mean, he's not going to sustain that. But it's if you can have 3 young dudes, that's something you can build around like that. Like even the great lineups, when you actually look at the lineups, there's not more than 3 guys that are like sensational. It's a lot of guys that do their job, do their
about?
role.
X-Man, very good, very consistent.
Like
The second baseman, Edwards.
well, but I'm saying that's the thing is they have other guys that are actually performing, but those 3 dudes, Gus, and like Ramirez, has actually come on the way people thought that he would.
Augustine, batting average, though, dipped down to below 240. You know me with my batting average. I want to see contact. Lubie, I want make contact.
He hits for power and he hits for RBIs, and that's what they care about. And he gets on base.
I don't want to see wingman numbers, though. I don't want to see 222 with 47 homers. Schwarber was like that. Even he has amplified his batting average a little bit. No,
Marcy will be that guy. Stowers is in the middle somewhere where he hits better for average, a power dude, and does some of the other things. And then this kid, I guess, will be there like freaking beast. I mean, that's a player that does all those things in this day and age is rare. 5-tool. I didn't even use the term 5-tool because I feel weird using it at this day and age. Like who's I guess Judge is close to 5-tool, but it's not because he can steal bases, but he's not like great at stealing bases. Yeah. I'm sure they never let him steal bases.
I guess you'd have to say Ohtani is 6-tool.
Ohtani, I guess, is like that 5-tool to another level. Yeah, like he can pitch.
Hit with power, run, field, and throw.
He can field. Like who else? Like Soto's not known as a base stealer. Like
no,
it's rare to see
even run to first base when he has to run out a ground ball again.
No, like who else is Like that's not even a thing in this. They don't care if you're 5-tool anymore. Like,
no, they want 1 tool. Hit with power.
That's it. They don't care if you field.
They don't care if you field. They're going to eventually put in 2 DHs, right? It's insane. You don't even want to throw these guys out on the field. They're making a big deal in New York about Stanton's out in right field because Judge has been injured and has come back from this injury. But Stanton playing the outfield, and it's been a long, long time. You're afraid if he just steps over the foul line, he's going to pull a hamstring. Giancarlo Stanton. So and they're floundering right now. The New York Yankees just literally flapping like a fish on the dock that you just caught, as are the New York Mets, who find themselves all of a sudden trying to hold off Dave Gurgly's Cincinnati Reds for the final wildcard spot. So a lot of stuff happening, juxtaposition, Major League Baseball in the standings, but that was a really heartening story where we have yet another Marlin making news yesterday. At least we're finding our way into the headlines with this team, and it's not for the usual reasons of Lauria threatens to move team to San Antonio. I will never forget that. I still have that image in my mind of Jeffrey Loria was standing. I think they were just off home plate on the third base side. He's in one of the lower box seats. There was this cracker judge from San Antonio, Texas. He's wearing a big, like he was Hoss Cartwright, a 10-gallon hat. And Loria's kind of pointing to him saying, this is going to be the guy. He's going to end up owning the team. You'll be taking that little cruise around the Riverwalk if you want to watch this team play, which is probably the most overrated tourist destination. It really is. I mean, San Antonio, I know people that swear that this is like the greatest place to go. You've been there, Lubie? San Antonio?
No, I have not been to San Antonio, and I'm sure that's a big reason why. I've been to Houston. I've been to Dallas.
I would want to go to San Antonio.
To Austin. I've never had any inkling to go to San Antonio.
I was there for the Julio Cesar Chavez Purnell Sweet Pea Whitaker fight, one of the biggest travesties in terms of boxing judging that we've ever witnessed. As I still remember, too, I was not really close to ringside for this fight, sort of midway through the stands, and I can actually see the lips of Freddie Pacheco, who had just had gotten a glance at the scorecard somehow, or gotten word that they were calling this thing a draw. And even the Chavez fans with the red bandanas, which naturally were the predominant number of people that were in attendance in San Antonio, Texas, they had all just come across the border before we had the Trump administration. And had the usual scenario where they borrowed $20, $10 for a ticket, $10 for beer. And they couldn't have been any more upset. I mean, those are real fans. When you realize that your guy just got a complete con job to to even achieve a draw, and you're upset about it because there's no honor in cheating, Lubie. No honor in cheating. A lot of different things going on too around the world of sport. As this is, I mean, where do people get the money from? You ever wonder about that? This guy, David Booth, have you heard of this guy? He actually has, I believe, the stadium at Kansas is named in his honor.
Okay.
As well, it should be, because I think at the time he had donated $50 million back to his school. Talk about be true to your school. Did you ever envision yourself writing a check for a couple of $1 million?
I've always wanted, my dream when I was at FSU and right after was to be, because at FSU you can't park at the stadium for games unless you are a big time booster. Like, and there's a lot of spots. It's not like there's not spots, but that's how many boosters they have. So it was always a dream of mine to come back and be a booster and donate money. I never saw myself donating millions. If I'm making enough to donate millions, it would be to like, I love football and I love FSU, but it would be to real causes like cancer, which now they don't want to fund at all. So I would hopefully help because they were doing great work.
We stopped all cancer research because
to
look into it.
Yeah. They didn't solve it, but there were like literal certain forms of cancer that they were close to solving, which means you would think they could solve all forms of cancer. Well, now they don't want to do that for some weird reason. So I would probably donate money to things like that because those are probably more important to the world. But yes, I would definitely be a booster. Millions. I always give credit to those people who can do that, like a T. Boone Pickens and all that. Like to me, it's cool. And as a fan, I like that people do that because it helps my football team, basketball team. But in the grand scheme of things, it's hard for me to imagine.
I don't envision. Yeah, this guy just wrote a check to Kansas, or is about to. I guess he proposed he's going to give the university $300 million, Libby. Didn't Stephen Ross just do something like that with Michigan? And he got widely criticized and panned for it, saying, well, if he's got the money to give what did he give? Like $400 million to Michigan?
Yeah, hundreds of millions. It was years ago. Yeah, he gave hundreds of millions. And soon after, Michigan became a power again. It's really interesting how that worked. Like, because remember, there was
$300 million to give away, though.
Literally, they didn't have Harbaugh. They magically got Harbaugh, and they became a contender again. And now, even with more, they're buying quarterbacks for $12 million a year.
$40 million for this kid, unbelievable. And yeah, that's the biggest farce going. That, as you were talking about with Ed Garcia yesterday, that they refused to name this guy the official starter. Oh, I don't know. You got to be kidding me, man. Some guys putting up that kind of juice for a college player. And think about that. What if you had $12 million when you were walking around? I mean, it was one thing to be the BMOC, big man on campus, team quarterback. You got babes following you around. They usually, small entourage of sycophants and hangers on. But to know that the guy's got $12 million in his pocket, also as a freshman, I could have done some serious damage at the Q's with $12 million. I was happy to pick up the $15 a month laundry money there that they gave the baseball players, which was great. $15 a month at that time seemed like a gargantuan sum on a college campus. Because let's face it, back then you could buy gas for 29 cents a gallon. Those were good times, Lubie. And you were complaining. Oh, you believe this? $3 to fill my tank today. Leave the gas station in disgust. Plus, I think they even had at that time they had somebody come out and pump the gas for you. Didn't even have to get out of your
Northeast. That was big.
You like your windshield washed? Yeah, sure. And it wasn't one of those guys when you were coming out of the tunnel there that just rubbed a greasy rag across your windshield.
I can't see now.
While you were coming. Windshield was opaque afterwards. Speaking of opaque too, it was such a pleasure yesterday. I mean, I've been back a couple of days, but the first day you're sort of adjusting a little bit, I guess. As you get older, does jet lag affect you more?
I'm not there yet, I guess, because so far I don't really get jet lag. I get tired because I don't sleep on planes. So like when we do these concocted 10-hour flights, like it's a mess for me because I'll sleep for 30 minutes. I'm up. I'll sleep. Like I can't. My wife can knock out. Like Shirley can knock out for like hours at a time. She'll wake up just in time to eat, and then she'll go right back to sleep. Like I can't do that.
Right back.
Yeah, I can't do that. Right? So I'll be tired.
I used to have to take a lot of
well, that's my next move is to take like one of these Dramamines or one of these pills that are supposed to knock you out. I haven't tried that yet. But anyways, I've never had like when we do a 3-hour, 4-hour flight backwards or something. Like I've never had jet lag like that. So I'm always curious what that means because we always just hit the ground and run. So I don't know what it is to feel something and then do nothing.
No, it's always weird. Yeah, I mean, when we had that trip to Rome. Or to Italy, as soon as we got off the plane, we were supposed to be on some tour. It's like, you got to be kidding me, man. It's going to take a day to kind of collect myself. Got to go take a dump somewhere and see how these toilets really work. Do they really not use toilet paper in Europe? That was like a speculation, right? They give you one sheet. That's it. It's not exactly like the American waste of this valuable pulp, but yeah, it was interesting though because the last couple of days, fresh air is such a good
Yes.
thing, Movie. I can't believe does everybody who smokes do they all end up
It's
in Las Vegas?
crazy
Is that
that's
how that
still a
happens?
thing.
I've never been in
It's crazy that's still a
What's that?
thing. Like cigarettes, for the most part, whenever you are like when you're out and about here, once in a while you'll see a cigarette, but people do the vapes, and even that they'll do outside now. Like it's rare to see someone smoke.
Yeah.
Like in Europe, they still smoke. In
Indoor
Europe, they
smoking.
smoke a lot. When
Cool.
we were in Spain, there's a lot of smoking. But here, that's one thing America has done decent, where we've sort of gotten, because of the taxes on cigarettes, they're so expensive that we really don't see a lot of cigarettes. Like for Vegas to still be like that is weird to me. Like
In the shops on the strip, cigarettes. My friend Mighty Melendez smokes. Unfortunately, almost
Okay.
incessantly.
Yeah,
$21
that's
a
what
pack
I'm
on
like.
the strip.
Try to price you out of
$21 a
it.
pack. So
Yeah.
that's $210. You buy 5 cartons of cigarettes, and it's $1,000. That's insane. And you would hope that would discourage people and kind of force them financially into breaking the habit, but apparently not. I mean, I couldn't believe the stench that existed inside pretty much everywhere you went in Las Vegas, and how it impacted me because it's just the opposite now. You walk outside of a building where people are working, and that's where everybody's outside gathered smoking, and so you have to go back inside to get another breath of fresh air. But it really is a pleasure, especially with a little bit of moisture in the air there. That dry heat, you can kind of have that, Luby. As the cab driver on the way to the airport told me, this is a town where you only need one shirt. You can wear one shirt all week long because you don't have a bead of sweat on you the entire time. And a radical departure from what we experience here. But yeah, the smoke that's still sort of affecting me. I still remember being in that corner at the Seven Silvers Casino. What a disgusting
You're in
pig of a
like old.
joint that
Well, yeah.
we were in all these old school
You're gonna
Vegas
get a lot
places
more
'cause,
smoking. I'm curious if in like the Bellagio and the Mirage and all
no,
they're
their
putting
air
a lot
filtration
of
systems
money,
are
and there's a
closed.
lot of like
Yeah.
restaurants and all this other crap that diverts you from the gambling.
It wasn't heavy duty like it was when I walked into the race book
Yeah,
at the
okay.
Seven
Well, if you're going to
Silvers.
the older one, then you have the older crowd. So it's not
The
big,
Seven Silvers.
I didn't know you
Never
were.
knew it.
I mean, yeah. Well, if
No,
you're
we
going to
were
the
in a
old
lot of dumps
places,
of
yes.
casinos. And my buddy, he kept embracing it. Well, this is what it should be. It's old school Vegas. It's not this corporate BS that you're getting on the strip there. Yeah, probably have to say, aside from the prices of food and everything that you could possibly imagine being way out of whack, way out of proportion with what even the normal rip-off prices would be. Imagine that. I mean, $13 for a slice of
Jesus.
pizza, Libby.
Oh my
At the
God,
food
one
court.
slice.
One slice, yeah. And then you got to throw them a tip, so you're paying $15 for a slice of pizza. You should be able to at least cart the whole pie back up
Yeah,
to your room.
they've gotten out of hand. They've gotten out.
My God. Otani with a rare feat last night, Major League Baseball. Anything that he does as a pitcher and a hitter would have to be considered somewhat rare. But and I believe, and it's hard to fathom that this has been done before, where the starting pitcher in a ball game led off the game for his team at bat with a triple. How many starting pitchers were leadoff hitters in the history of Major League Baseball?
Anyway,
You would have to think none. Who the hell? I mean, I know there were some pitchers. Bob Gibson could hit. You would sometimes see, who was it? Was it Tony La Russa that used to hit his pitcher eighth and then put somebody else up ninth? We've seen that. I don't know that I've ever seen. Have you ever seen a pitcher lead off a game before? As
even the
leadoff
pitchers that
hitter?
can hit, like John Smoltz was a decent hitter, Glavine was a decent hitter, Don Trell was a decent hitter, like Chris Hammond back in the day was a decent hitter,
Fernando,
good hitter.
Valenzuela?
Like even the guys that were good hitters,
Right.
they weren't like bad. Like you weren't moving them up in the.
You don't have him leadoff. Imagine Fernando pitching and batting leadoff. That would have been kind of well. I mean, it was a kind of spectacle that he embraced, but nonetheless. And he might have been one of those guys that ended up batting eighth while you put some weak hitting shortstop batting ninth. I'm not sure. All right, we're going to come back with more. Chris Perkins scheduled to join us, and I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman who's going to get you guys healthy again later on in the program. He's got an excellent. I mean, this is one of those products been around for a long time. And yet, my man Joe B, he does it like nobody else, a leader in this particular type of supplement. And we'll talk with him. Happy to have him on board as a sponsor of our Bleacher Brothers programs. Joe B of Joe B's going to be joining us later on. We'll get you guys healthy and figure out a way. Maybe should we put him on a spot and make him have some special television offer?
If he's willing to, that'd be cool.
If you call right now. We have operators standing by. No, but we'll introduce you to that later on also. So Chris is scheduled to join us here in just a few minutes. We'll be back with more in a moment.
The time!
8:28. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show. Jeff DeForest, got Mike Lubie Lubitz waiting the arrival here of one Chris Perkins, who is scheduled to join us sometime right around now. So hopefully we'll get a chance to speak with him, and he will zero in. You talk about training camp chronicles. Does he have to go out there every day and schwitz?
Yeah, I think whenever they have camp, he's got to be there. That's sort of the thing.
I don't know. Has anything particularly significant come out of Dolphins training camp so far? Right? I don't know that we've seen much. We're kind of just sitting there, literally hoping that they've patched things up together enough. Is it always that? We talk about the differential, whether it's better to have a patchwork offensive line or a makeshift offensive line. Which is worse, Lubie? Would you rather be patchwork or makeshift if you were putting together an offensive line that wasn't necessarily going to be one where you're thinking all these guys are targeted for the Hall of Fame? Patchwork or makeshift? Patchwork is what? Where you're moving guys around different positions? Makeshift? What would that be exactly in terms of what does that describe? That you've taken guys that were not even in the league? I'm not sure.
They're very
Is there a big
similar,
difference
and it
between the
seems
two?
like this is what the Dolphins have had for 25 years.
You could throw either one of those terms out.
100% for the Dolphins.
Well, the patchwork offensive line of the Miami Dolphins, the makeshift offensive line of the Miami Dolphins. So we'll see if anything significant is happening as hopefully we'll connect up here shortly with one Chris Perkins, who usually, I mean, lately the Perkins reputation in the past was always that he was out partying. We would have him scheduled to be on various morning shows back in the days of the first team, Joe Rose, Steve Goldstein, and I'd be making allusions to the fact that Perk was going to join us, and then about 9:30, this was predating text messaging. The producer would get a call saying, "Oh, I just got back in from where I was. So would it be okay if I join you tomorrow?" And then he sort of settled down. So he was in a pretty good groove about being timely with these appearances. And hopefully we'll be able to talk to him shortly about what's going on. Here's one for you, Lubie. I don't know if you followed his conference at all. The American Conference in college football. So Tulane is being very highly regarded this year. They're accorded a reasonable shot to make the college football
their quarterback
playoff.
was like a big deal, and isn't he the one that's at? He's either at Duke or he's at Colorado. Wasn't their quarterback like this big thing? So like, why would they be? That's interesting. I don't know who they were.
I guess they they lost their coach,
the court Mensah or whatever his name is.
The coach was Willie Fritz, and the quarterback Michael Pratt. But they put together an ongoing campaign. So they're favored. This guy named Michael Leboff, who we've seen handicapping like women's tennis, says that you should take a shot that Temple somehow will be the conference champion at 200-1. Would you be willing to take that? Remember, Temple was the laughing stock for so many years of the Big East, right? Where, if you didn't beat Temple, it was tantamount to just having your contract thrown in the shredder if you were a head coach. They were the laughing stock. Says 200-1. All right, we have Chris Perkins joining us here, which is great because we're kind of floundering there trying to encourage you to bet Temple to win the American Conference, which was that not one of the bigger reaches we've had in the history of the show, Louie? That I even brought that up. I just 200-1. I don't know. Is it worth a shot, Louie? Would you throw $20 on that?
1, yeah, because you never know with a conference. Like you see teams every year come out of nowhere.
That'll be 4,000 you would win if you hit that. $20.
I mean, you never know. Like teams come out.
All right, let's bring Perk into the equation here. Can we do that, Louie?
I think he's getting set
beach. Oh, okay. All right. Perk, are you with us here? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm having some issues here with my camera.
Okay.
Let me see.
We had the same thing happen yesterday. I don't know if it's us or you.
It's probably me.
That could be.
Most likely.
So it's not us.
All right. Well, I mean, the scene that you have up there is fine.
So if you want to
and you sound good. So as long as you can hear us, we'll go ahead and
all right. Good deal. We'll just have the beach.
Somehow remarkably. Yeah, we'll hope the issue resolves itself. Well, are you at the beach or are you at?
No. I'm here. I'm here in Miami. David Furones is up there in Detroit. So this is just the background. I didn't have my normal background set here, so some user error.
Okay. Yeah, and so all right. So they're sending one guy up there to Detroit, and what are we looking for in these second week of preseason games? Is there any kind of formula, as there used to be, where you would see an extended use of starters after the first week where they did relatively little, if they played at all, and then the third week was the big game planning, and everybody got all excited about that? But is there any kind of formula like that still in place now that we only have the 3 preseason
No, that's
games?
gone. It's pretty much training camp now is your starters are going to get their work during joint practice, which is why the joint practices against Chicago and Detroit and Jacksonville are so important. And then in the preseason game and in your regular training camp practices, it's basically the second and third team guys that are going at it. So, really what you want to see in these joint practices and what Dolphins didn't see yesterday against Detroit and didn't see against Chicago is the way that you want to play. And for the Dolphins, that's showing more physicality. They didn't do it against Chicago. They didn't do it yesterday against Detroit. So you want to see that today. You're not looking for them to be 180 degrees different. We know that they win with speed and finesse. You just want to see some semblance of muscle, especially after they got the two guards, right? James Daniels, the veteran from Pittsburgh, Jonas Savaiinaya, the rookie second-round draft pick. The loss of Alexander Madison, the running back, is a huge loss to that extent because he was showing some power plus some speed, and that's something that they don't have. they have gone away from the power thing. You're glad that you see some aggression from the defensive front seven, which I think is going to be the strength of the team, maybe the strength of the team overall, even ahead of Tua to Tyreek. You know, it sounds like Chop Robinson is okay. He left on a cart yesterday, but you want to see Chubb and Jalen Phillips and Jordan Brooks setting a tempo. Zach Sealer, just aggression, and you're getting that from Jordan Brooks. I'm not sure you're consistently getting that from the other guy. Well, you're getting that from Zach Sealer too, but I want to see more aggression, more physicality. I don't care necessarily about scoring touchdowns in joint practices. You just want to see that attitude and that mentality.
Okay, so last week you saw that they supposedly, again, I say supposedly because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with preseason games, let alone practices. But supposedly they were struggling versus the Bears. And now our friend Jim Sarney tells me that they're struggling against the Lions. So if the practices are what matters nowadays, what do we do with that information for a team that there's not a lot of expectations already? And now you see two straight weeks bitching and moaning in practice from his play and their play. Like, what do we do with that as we head into this season?
You say, Mike McDaniel, you've got to fix this, right? Because this has been one of the things with this team. As you know, I always hammer on this theme that 4-16 against playoff teams under Mike McDaniel. Detroit is a playoff team, right? And they're pounding you. Well, they pounded you yesterday. And so you want to see this team show some fight. That, look, we heard this from Deshaun Elliott, right? That this team isn't physical. We heard this from Jordan Brooks after the Green Bay game, that he thought the weather made them soft. They didn't want to tackle. We heard this from Jordan Poyer before he joined the Dolphins, that the word is if you punch them in the mouth, they're going to fold. You want to see some toughness. So that's what you do with it, Lubie. You tell Mike McDaniel, look at all these comments. Look at Bradley Chubb saying during training camp or during a mini camp that we were lying last year about culture change. We weren't really serious about it. This stuff adds up. Like on their own, Lubie, I don't think these comments mean much because it's just one man speaking, giving his opinion. But when these types of things add up, that we were lying about culture change, that the cold weather made you not want to tackle. If you punch them in the mouth, they're going to fold. And then it seeps over into the Detroit practice. Well, that sets the agenda to me. Mike McDaniel, make your team tougher. They want to play tougher. You're playing tackle football here. Be tough.
This is alarming, Chris Perkins. It really is to hear you, and with the passion that you've infused into this conversation. It makes you think. I mean, it's hard to imagine Mike McDaniel. Interestingly and ironically, they're in there practicing jointly with Detroit. Mike McDaniel channeling his inner Dan Campbell, somehow turning these guys into a bunch of rough and tumble players. I remember this, and you probably do as well. If you ever even slightly implied to Don Shula that the Dolphins had become a finesse team.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. He instructed Stu Weinstein to run you over with the team truck.
Exactly. And they were going to have a 4-hour practice.
This notion.
I mean, it's totally different. We know eras are different, but let's just go coaches. And yeah, like you say, Defo, I mean, we don't expect Mike McDaniel to be Man Campbell, right? Not Dan Campbell, Man Campbell. We don't expect that. And if he tried it, it would be fake. But you've got to make some kind of change. I've always said that, look, on a coaching staff, you need to have two elements. You need to have a guy that the players love, and then a guy that the players will run through a brick wall for. And I don't know that the Dolphins have that coach that players will run through a brick wall for. That mentality just isn't there. And again, Jordan Brooks brings it. Zach Sealer brings it. The defense usually brings it. It's kind of the offense that you wonder about. The defense was number 4 in the league last year, number 10 in the league 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they set a franchise record with 56 sacks. Yes, the defense will allow 48 at Buffalo and 56 at Baltimore, but their mentality is good. It's a talent thing with them. The offense, it's the opposite. They've got the talent. Their mentality is just so finesse. And so they don't ever just go and take a game. It's if the game is given to them, they'll win it, but they don't just go take the game. You want to see that type of mentality set on that offense again, that's why Alexander Madison's lost hurts, but they got the 2 guards. Let's see what they do with them. They tried to run it in last week, and I liked that against Chicago. It didn't work, but I liked the mentality. Keep working in that direction.
Okay, off of that, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. And Defo said what you said. Look, at least unlike last year when they would have done a screen to Tyreek Hill and he would have lost 7 yards, they at least ran it 2 or 3 times in a row right up the middle. And so even I was like, all right, good. I didn't have to yell about play calling. It was the exact play I would have wanted to see. Why were they using like a 5'9", 150-pound receiver to do that? Or I don't know the exact size, but the person looked like it was their nickel. Slot receiver. Like they don't have any big backs. Like we keep talking about needing a big back, and that's another thing this year. They brought in, I guess, backup quarterbacks because yours has been interesting.
Yeah,
and Wilson has started in the league. Fine,
yeah.
They address it in a way they hadn't before. I guess. Sure, I don't really love it, but fine. The big back was also a big issue for them.
Yep.
It seemed to still be an issue. Like, I like you trying to be physical, but again, a big part of being physical is personnel.
Right.
If you don't have the personnel to be physical, how do you then, we've seen little guys be strong, but like they're a grown man's league. Like, how are you running slot receivers and what? Like that's my problem. I love you trying to run it up the middle, but if you don't have a big back, how successful can that be?
It can't. You're limited. And look, and Jalen Wright is not a small back, but he's a speed back. You know that, and so you're right. It's the same thing. It's not much different than running Achane at 188 pounds up there. Now, Jalen Wright goes about 200, maybe 205, so he's got a little more bulk on him. But Madison was 220, and you had Chris Brooks last year. And so, you're exactly right, Lubie. This is part of my point here is that, I thought they were going to get a back when they lost Madison, a bigger back to kind of fill that void, but they went small. They went with speed again. Mike McDaniel can't help himself. I'll also say this. If you go back and look at the 3rd and 4th down plays that they ran at the goal line, they should have worked. Jonas Sabayanaya, I'm sorry. He always tells us that the last name, it rhymes with, think of Hawaii. So Sabayanaya. Right. So anyway, Jonas Sabayanaya misses a block on 3rd down. And on 4th down, Patrick Paul double teams along with Sabayanaya, and Sewell, number 44, comes up and makes a hit for a 3-yard loss. So that was execution. Those guys have to get on that. It wasn't necessarily the size of the back, but your point is well taken. They don't have that big bruising back. And you mentioned Zach Wilson. Oh my goodness, what a train wreck that was. The 2 tight end throws that he leaves at the feet, the near pick 6 before halftime. I mean, but having said that, he was under a lot of pressure. He got sacked 4 times. And I thought he did still establish himself as the number 2 quarterback, because as bad as he was, Quinn Ewers was even worse. And so, look, for Ewers, you're a 7th-round rookie, and that's your first taste of NFL action. That's fine. But, Zach, you've got to be better, because if Tua goes down, you've got to step in and lead this team to victory, or else jobs are getting lost, starting with your own. So, Zach Wilson, you got to be better.
That's pretty much what he's been, though.
It is.
I don't know
what he's been.
No, it really is. I mean, you watch him and you're thinking, okay, once in a while you'll see the guy make a throw and think there's some potential there. Maybe that was because he was a Jet, and that was a curse in and of itself. So maybe he could blossom somewhere else. We saw what Sam Darnold did for most of the season last year before he reverted back to being himself. But Zach Wilson, what we saw in the preseason there is kind of what we've seen from him throughout his professional career to this point. I thought it was a good move to take a shot with this guy, because at least that there may be an upside that somehow Mike McDaniel can cultivate out of him. But this is interesting. I mean, do you want to amend your position, Chris Perkins? Because did you have the Dolphins at 7-10?
No, he thinks they win.
No. I'm 9-8. I'm a 9-8 guy, and
okay.
I turned in my official prediction yesterday or Tuesday at 9-8. And I'll say this. This is what I've always said about this team. It's not a successful season unless you win a playoff game. 9-8, I'm not sure 9 wins even gets you into the playoffs. It did in 2022. It wouldn't have last year. It's definitely not going to get you a home playoff game. So at this point, I'll say I don't see the Dolphins winning a playoff game. And 9-8, I know what everybody's thinking. I don't know who loses their job. At 9, we have to see how it happens. Maybe Greer and McDaniel come back. I don't know. But 9-8 is kind of that mediocrity that they've been mired in for the last 2 decades. And I'm sorry, I can't provide you a better answer, but I do see more 9-8 mediocrity coming for this team.
Okay, and that's what I was going to go next. So we're symbiotic today. It's early to do this, but you sort of let us there, so I don't feel bad doing it because we have a whole season that no matter how they're playing, we're still going to have to talk about them.
Right.
But like hearing that stuff from the end of last season, seeing nothing really change in style of play or how, like, who is at the top, like the 2 people that are there are the same 2 people. So what would really change? Nothing's going to change. So the more I look at the season, I keep telling people it feels like a lost season. Before it starts, it feels like one of those seasons where you go in knowing what you're going to get. You're not telling me I'm wrong. So how can they not make changes? It felt like last season they had to make the changes. They didn't.
Yeah.
How do you go another year and not have the whispers that we've been saying about the pictures with Chris Greer and then this and then that? Like, how do you go another year?
I think he's in the Epstein files, so I don't want to make that assertion.
How do you do another year? Like,
here's how it happens, Lubie, is that if you're Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel, you go to Steve Ross at the end of the season and you say, look, we went 9-8, but this is a transitional phase, right? We went from win now to we're trying to now win with youth and draft picks. And you see some promise here, right? Savia Naya and Chop Robinson and Patrick Paul and Kenneth Grant. You see that we're trying to become more physical. We're trying to build the trenches up. Give us one more year. Our program is going to work. That's how it happens. And Steve Ross, again, he likes the harmony down here. You remember back in the day when Don Aponte is telling them this and Jeff Ireland's telling them this and Tannenbaum's telling them this and Greer is telling them this. Now there's harmony and unity in the building, and I'm sure that he appreciates that, but you're still stuck in mediocrity. So what do you value? What do you how far are you willing to go to make a change? Steve Ross is 85. A rebuild is probably going to take 2 or 3 years. Does he have the patience, or does he roll the dice on these guys one more time? And does he believe that the changes and building the trenches is going to pay off? I don't think anybody sees this team winning a Super Bowl in the next 2 or 3 years. So, no matter who's the coach, no matter who's at quarterback, you don't see that at this point. So if you're Steve Ross, what do you do? Do you
Do we lose Chris at the moment of truth?
I don't know what's going on, I guess.
Wow. Okay. That was heading towards a dramatic conclusion.
We'll talk to
you. We thank Chris for sort of being with us today.
I mean,
he was brilliant.
wow.
I loved his passion. I don't have this passion yet for the preseason. Do you, Lubie? I don't know.
No. Look, it's in large part because we talk about this every year. I get excited and then I get fooled and I get frustrated because it's not real football. But I don't mind watching the Dolphins because I have hope for them. So it's like, okay, I think I like their starters, so I don't mind watching their backups. Problem is now I don't know if I like their starters. So just watching the Dolphins just hurts my feelings and makes me sad.
Yeah. But as I've stated, and I don't see any change forthcoming, they could go 3-14, and I believe Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer would retain their positions. Because as I've said many, many times, I always wish that Stephen Ross would have bought the radio station we ran, Lubie.
So Perk, jump back on. I guess we can.
Oh, you were heading towards a dramatic conclusion there, Perk, and we didn't want to. We didn't want to miss this.
Anyway, I was saying, I was saying I don't know where it cut off, but I was saying, Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel have made some changes here, going from the win now to the win with youth and draftees, and Steve Ross does value the harmony that he has, that you don't have Don Aponte telling you one thing and Jeff Ireland telling you this and Chris Greer telling you this and Tannenbaum telling you this. There is unity. So, I think that he values that. At 85 years old, though, how patient is Steve Ross going to be? If you do decide to do a rebuild and change out Greer and McDaniel, you're probably looking at 2 or 3 years before you can, be at the level where you're a threat to win a Super Bowl. On the other hand, if you keep these guys here, you're probably still 2 or 3 years away from being a threat to win a Super Bowl. So which way does Steve Ross decide to go? I think a lot of it depends on how they get to their final destination this season. Like if you do end up 9-8, was it because Tua missed 6 games, or was it because you got your butt kicked by good teams once again? So I think how they get to the destination, whatever that final season's end destination is going to be very, very important. Did you get there by bad luck, or did you get there by incompetence? And that's going to be a very big factor, I think.
Just hope that Stephen Ross buys the Sun-Sentinel.
I would love that.
Turn in a blank column every
Yeah.
day, and you'd still have a job. It's great.
Dolphins columnist emeritus, right? That would be great.
Yeah, you would never lose your job.
As long as there's no drama, because I know when the drama happens, he doesn't seem to like that. But when there's no drama, he's happy. He doesn't give a crap about winning.
Couldn't be happy, right?
Yeah.
All right, Chris, we can't thank you enough, man. You were brilliant today.
All right, guys. Thanks. We'll do it again.
Appreciate you.
Definitely brought the show to another level there. As this man intends to do with your help, as we welcome to the Bleacher Brothers family, and very proud to have this man on board because he's been doing good things for people for a long, long time. It's did we lose him?
It's not. He's signed on, but he's not there.
Oh, really? No, that's not good.
I'm here. I just can't get the video.
Okay, because people would love to see you, but all right. In the meantime, we'll see if we can just do this on the fly and figure it out as it happens. But we welcome Joe Bees as a sponsor to the Bleacher Brothers family. And Joe Bees, I've known this gentleman a long time, but even better, I mean, Stephen Ross should start using this product. Joe, how are you? First of all, good to have you on the program.
You took the words right out of my mouth. We need to get some product to Stephen Ross. It's a pleasure to be with the legend.
Well, and great to have you on board. Tell us about, Joe Bees is a supplement that people can take. There's nothing that you could say that isn't great about this because every part of it just screams that this is going to help you bring about better health, better energy, and without doing drugs or any of this other stuff. Tell us about Joe Bees and your involvement and how long it's been on the market.
Joe Bees 100% natural. It's produced in nature by bees. Unlike a multivitamin that is manufactured in a laboratory with guys with white coats on, the bees forage plant life and the male seeds stick to their bodies. They bring it back to the hive for food, and that's where we collect it. Bee pollen has never been able to be duplicated by man due to its compound of vitamins, minerals, aminos, keratines, enzymes. 100% natural, assimilates in the body. I've been taking it for 20 years. Joe Bees has been around for just over 20 years. I discovered it after a horrible water ski accident where I hyperextended my neck. And I've been very active all of my life, and that product brought me back. And folks all over America have discovered this, that 100% natural product assimilates with the body. And it could do so many things for you. You must try it. Try it and see. If it doesn't work for you, if you don't absolutely love it, additional energy, boosted immune system. But I make no claims because everybody's system is different. We just want you to try it. If you don't 100% love it, I guarantee it for life. You will receive a refund from me with absolutely no question.
Oh, you're great like that. And I know you're very proud of this. And on top of that, you mentioned the benefits to the immune system. And this is especially effective. Look, almost everybody that I know of on an annual basis or somewhere around there experiences some hideous Florida cold, where you're wondering, where did this virus come from? It had to come from some laboratory in South Korea or something. But
absolutely.
I mean, it's knocking the crap out of me. COVID was, just like a pinch on the cheek compared to some of the colds that you get. But this, the Joe Bees product also with this, it really greatly enhances immunities in that area too, doesn't it?
That's a reoccurring statement that I get from the Joe B's family members that take Joe B's, folks in the Northeast, the Midwest, who each year had a horrible bronchial infection or whatever, claim that they no longer do get that, and if they do get something, it's very mild and goes away within a day or two. Yes, it boosts the immune, but I'm very, very careful about making a claim because I don't want to disappoint anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's system is different. No two systems work alike. That's why I say, as my grandmother used to say, it couldn't hurt. Try it.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. That's all I'm asking. And the benefits are huge.
Well, and people, you've seen an evolution. I mean, just amazing exponential growth of people's awareness of things like the acai berry,
Right.
and other natural components that even if you don't have anything that's bothering you, it's good to take. And this falls into that category very much so. And where we've seen a huge rise in costs of access to the acai berry and the various products that use it, Joe B's, I mean, a very, very reasonable way to go ahead and get many of these natural health benefits from the way that you extract the honey from these bees.
Absolutely. Honey is just loaded with nutrients. It's very important also to take this product daily. I take it first thing in the morning before food. This is not an energy drink that kicks in. This has to be taken on a daily basis. It gets into you, assimilates in your system, and hopefully you feel better. And if you don't, like I said, I give you your money back gladly.
Yeah, and let's face it, you could have all the money in the world if you don't have your health. It really is true, and you start to become more and more aware of that as the numbers on the birth certificate or away from it increase. And yeah, I mean, you want to feel good. I was just with some people that were around my age, and I have to say, I felt good about the fact that I'm in for 74 relatively decent shape. So made a big difference, and a lot of that attributable to things like Joe B's that are supplements that you just all of a sudden realize, wow, I don't know what I'm doing different besides this, but I sure feel a whole lot better. All right, how can people order it?
I just want to tell you, brother, you're in great shape. 74, 70 is like the new 30 for you, man. You're looking good. Lastly, Defo, it's so important that people take care of themselves.
Yeah.
With all that's going on in our world, you can't possibly help anybody else or take care of anybody else until you've taken care of yourself. This is, please, if nothing else, folks, look after yourselves every day. Very, very important. I have a 24-hour call center that you can reach, or we're online at JOEBEES 877-300-5632. 877-300-5632. That in Cleveland, we say Chip Banks, Jimmy Brown for the two numbers, 5632.
Well, you
Yes,
went right to the top. All right. And information online?
JOEBEES. That's all you need. Bee pollen. Look it up, folks. There's so much written about it. It's known as ambrosia to the ancient Egyptians. It's been around as long as man has been around.
Wow. Great stuff. Yeah. All right. And, no greater advocate for it than you. And it's great because it's always inspiring when you see somebody that naturally and deeply really believes in the product. And I've been using it for a while, and it's absolutely fantastic. As you said, it affects everybody differently, but better to feel good than to look good. In this case, yes. So, and you're going to be looking good too, just because you're going to have more energy and find yourself just feeling in general better health. Joe, thanks so much for being with us. Glad to have you on board. Thanks for stopping by here on the program.
It's just a pleasure, and guys, it's wonderful to be a part of your family. Thank you so much for everything.
Welcome. All right, thank you, Joe B. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe B's. Good stuff, Lubie. Yeah, we're gonna we'll pump that information out there and pop it on the screen here with some frequency because a couple of these capsules in the morning. It's one of those things that you're not taking a drug, you're not taking some pharmaceutical supplement. You're taking an all natural product that has amazing and very different benefits for different people, but It's the old nothing to lose, Lubie, type of thing, right? Like your grandmother would say, "Try it, Mike.
Yeah. You know,
What do you have to lose? Nothing."
Yep.
All right, that shouldn't be the only approach. I mean, obviously, you're looking for the benefits, and people swear by it to say, "Hey, I hardly ever get colds. I'm feeling a little more energetic every day. I can notice a little difference, a little more bounce in my step." And let's face it, bee honey and pollen. I mean, these are all natural supplements, and he's got in a capsule formula that really delivers the impact. So. Check out Joe B's, an outstanding product and a great American behind it. Big Cleveland fan, Lubie, throws Jim Brown into the equation.
Nice.
You always love homage to the all-time greats. All right, we have to get out of here. Thanks so much for being with us. Our thanks to Joe and Chris Perkins for joining us here on the show. Do it again tomorrow. The professor should have a big board. I can't believe it's already Friday, Lubie, but the 4-day week, I think, is the way to go. Is it not? If the Trump administration could sign an executive order for anything that was actually going to improve the overall well-being of humanity, which would be a pleasant change of events, no? Then the 4-day work week, I think, would be one of them, no? Is it time we just capitulated to authority? And when somebody demanded with an executive order and that crazy signature, it looks like a line detector test, doesn't it? Like where the line went way out of whack. And said, hey, 4 days a week from now on. That's what we're going to do. I would be okay with that, no? Would we have to work extra hours, though?
No, I mean, I don't know if we would. People would. Yeah. We probably wouldn't.
I want 4 10-hour days. Don't you try to leave early. All right, maybe we should go back to spreading it out over 5. I mean, we're going to get out of here. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll have the professor tomorrow.
Yes.
And we will have, I think, Dave back with us. What's that?
Preseason action. Yeah, Gregs will be back next Thursday.
Okay, so your trivia guys will be able to
yes.
get involved there. For Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:03.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my